Apollo 18 is a space horror movie from 2011. It typically gets lumped in with the found footage genre because it's based on these kind of lost films from NASA about a secret moon mission that went wrong. The premise of this movie is very cool. I like space stuff and NASA stuff, and classic space race moon mission stuff can be cool to a lot of people. Also, I really love found footage movies, and I'm willing to scrape the bottom of the barrel for the movies in this genre that most people have said don't waste your time on. And well, unfortunately, I'm here to tell you don't waste your time on this. The premise is exciting, I'll give you that, but it takes a very long time for this movie to get going. And for the final 15 to 20 minutes to be somewhat exciting, I would say is not worth sitting through the first big chunk of the movie. If you really, really like vintage looking footage and you really, really like found footage, or you like space or the moon missions, then maybe this would be a good choice. But for me, one or two cool scenes or parts of the movie just didn't lift the whole thing to a point where I can recommend this to a general audience. Crawl Space from 2012 is an action horror movie. Now, there are dozens of movies, it seems, with the title Crawl Space. So you're looking for the 2012 movie from Australia. That's the one that I'm talking about. It centers on a group of soldiers who are sent to a secret facility that is dubbed Australia's Area 51 to investigate and contain a breach of some test subjects. You can tell it was made with a lot of love for the genre, to the point where you can see where they're definitely aping things like Aliens and Scanners. But I thought there was enough to keep the film going and keep it fun. It was fast paced. The characters are just off the wall wacky and excitable. I can understand they're in a strange situation, but they really take the tightly wound soldier trope to a new level, which I thought was kind of funny and gave the movie a little bit of personality. Now, I wouldn't fall over myself to recommend this movie to you, but if you like cheap sci-fi movies, like mid-tier sci-fi action, then this is one you might want to check out. Boxing Helena is a strange fairy tale horror-ish movie from 1993, written and directed by Jennifer Lynch, daughter of David Lynch. This movie was panned when it came out. It was very infamous. It actually changed the history of Hollywood for some legal action that was taken against actresses who were interested in the film and then backed out. If you want to go down that rabbit hole, it's very interesting. But in the end, the lead role was taken by Sherilyn Fenn, who you may know from Twin Peaks, and she plays opposite Julian Sands in this movie. Julian Sands plays a character who is obsessed with this woman, Helena, who he in the past had a one-night stand with, and now he just cannot get her out of his head. And he uses these conniving, manipulative games to get her under his control, and then he takes it way too far. This movie is that special flavor of 90s erotica. I could picture this being on HBO late at night and around the time it came out. There are some excruciatingly bad sex scenes in this one. On the other hand, if you ever wanted to see Sherilyn Fenn in her prime Sands clothing, here's your opportunity. Now again, this movie was critically panned, like destroyed when it came out, but it seems to be undergoing a popular reevaluation, although it is very hard to come by to this day. There was only a DVD ever released of it. To my knowledge, there's no HD transfer available, and this is a film that is begging for a boutique Blu-ray release that one day I hope it gets one. And I liked it. It was fun. It's strange. The main character, played by Julian Sands, is the ultimate weasel, the ultimate incel, if you will. And the ending can be viewed as a way overused cliche, but somehow it works here. I'm glad this movie is having a resurgence in popularity that put it on my radar, and I was able to track down a copy on the internet and check it out. And although DVDs are rare, if you really want one, they're not that expensive. Perfect Sense from 2011 is a soft science fiction action romantic drama starring Eva Green and Ewan McGregor. Eva Green plays an epidemiologist investigating an ailment that is going around that causes people first to experience an immense feeling of grief, followed by losing their sense of smell. Meanwhile, she's starting a romance with a chef who works in a restaurant next to her apartment. He's played by Ewan McGregor, and he's kind of a womanizer. So they have that kind of light enemies to lovers situation in this movie. And depending on what you're coming to this film for, it really tries to give you both a pandemic thriller and a romance. As the film progresses, there are other strange side effects that come over people, followed by the loss of other senses. And it will leave you guessing, what are these emotions going to be? What do they symbolize? What is the significance of the senses being lost? And after watching this movie a couple days ago and thinking on it, I'm not exactly sure what the significance is, and I haven't gone down that rabbit hole. I also wonder with this movie coming out in 2011 if there was any predictive programming intended for what happened in 2020, because a lot of the protocols that take place in this movie felt extremely familiar. Now, like the previous movie I talked about, there are some excruciating sex scenes in this movie. In fact, Canopy has it marked as erotic, but I wouldn't call it an erotic movie. I think most movies can do without this kind of stuff, but it's really hard for me to complain about seeing Eva Green sans clothing. I liked this movie a lot. I liked the science fiction-y, pandemic-y stuff, and it made me wonder what was going to happen next. I like the narration parts where Eva Green's character is explaining what's going on all over the world. Again, predictive programming, who knows? But somehow I felt this film at 90 minutes felt like it was longer. And I know that would imply that I felt the pacing was off or that it was a little slow, but that really wasn't the case. I just thought, wow, that felt like a 2-hour movie, not 90 minutes. And I guess that just goes to say that it wasn't a thriller in that sense. It does take its time to a certain extent, but it's never boring. I think it's a really well done film and one that you should check out. And with that, we'll wrap up another installment. Thank you for watching until the end. If you like these short movie reviews, there's a whole playlist of them on my channel. Thank you for subscribing, and I'll see you on the next one.